What happens when the largest warship the United Kingdom has ever built sails into a United States naval base? This arrival says far more than what meets the eye. The presence of the British Royal Navy aircraft carrier, HMS Queen Elizabeth, at a United States naval base is not just a port visit. It signals a deepening strategic alignment, evolving power projection, and new questions about the future of naval warfare. Find out what this carrier is, why it matters, and how this moment can reshape the balance of Allied maritime power. To understand why this event matters, let's first look at the ship itself. HMS Queen Elizabeth is the flagship of the Royal Navy and represents one of the most significant investments in British defense in decades. It is a part of what is known as the Queen Elizabeth class of aircraft carriers. The idea behind it was to give the United Kingdom a new power projection capability for the modern era. The ship was designed to carry advanced fighter aircraft, support amphibious units, and operate globally alongside allies, such as the United States. The ship displaces more than 60,000 tons of water. In other words, it is extremely large, almost comparable in size to the United States Navy Nimitz-class carriers. Though configured differently, instead of using catapults, it uses a ski-jump launch system. This system works alongside short takeoff and vertical landing aircraft. Particularly the F-35 Bravo variant, these jets are specifically designed for operations on carriers without catapult launch systems. Now, why is the carrier arriving in the United States? This is a part of a long-standing partnership between the United States and the United Kingdom. Both countries have been interoperating for decades, but now, the cooperation is reaching deeper layers. The arrival allows United States and British pilots to train together, test joint communications systems, and practice coordinated missions. This includes rehearsing operations that range from humanitarian missions to high-intensity combat scenarios. There is also a symbolic dimension. When the British fleet brings its largest and most capable ship into a United States base, it sends a message. The message is that the United Kingdom intends to remain a major naval power. And more importantly, the two nations intend to continue operating as a tightly integrated maritime force. The first key point to understand is the design philosophy of HMS Queen Elizabeth. Unlike American supercarriers, which use nuclear power, this British carrier is conventionally powered. It relies on marine gas turbines and diesel generators instead of nuclear reactors. Some analysts see this as a limitation, but it actually reflects a different strategy. The United Kingdom wanted a carrier that could be maintained more easily and at a lower long-term cost than a nuclear-powered ship. The flight deck is expansive, covering enough space to support continuous flight operations. It can carry around 30 to 40 aircraft, depending on mission requirements, though its full operational potential depends heavily on the number of F-35 Bravo jets available. The carrier can also support helicopters used for anti-submarine warfare, airborne early warning, and transport missions. Now here is something interesting. The F-35 Bravo that operates from this carrier is one of the most advanced stealth aircraft currently in service. It is capable of collecting intelligence, surveillance, and targeting data and sharing that data across Allied networks. This sharing is what turns individual platforms into a combined force structure. In other words, the real power does not just come from the ship or the jets, it comes from how the systems talk to each other and form a single integrated combat network. Consider this. In the past, carriers mostly carried aircraft designed for attack missions. Today, carriers also act as command and sensor hubs. When HMS Queen Elizabeth trains with the United States Navy, the lessons learned go beyond flight operations. The two nations are refining how they will fight together as a single coordinated system. Another layer to this cooperation involves the United States Marine Corps. There are United States Marine Corps F-35 Bravo squadrons that have already operated from HMS Queen Elizabeth. This is a major shift. It means that in a conflict, the United States could place its aircraft on Allied carriers and vice versa. This level of interchangeability is extremely rare in global military alliances. Some defense analysts refer to this as force integration at the highest level. It is not just about being allies in name. It is about being able to share equipment, logistics, communication networks, and battle plans seamlessly. Few alliances in the world operate at this depth. The United States and the United Kingdom are among the only ones who do. The presence of the ship in the United States also allows maintenance coordination, operational planning, and testing of new carrier air wing configurations. The goal is not just to show the flag. The goal is to create a forward-ready force that could deploy rapidly if needed. This could mean deployments to the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, or the Indo-Pacific. And the Indo-Pacific region is becoming increasingly relevant. While the ship is impressive, the real significance is where and how it might be used. Because the geostrategic environment is shifting rapidly, the world is entering a new era of great power competition, especially at sea. The Indo-Pacific region is seeing increased naval activity, particularly in the South China Sea. Several global powers are expanding their naval forces, including the development of their own aircraft carriers. For the United Kingdom, deploying HMS Queen Elizabeth to different regions signals its return to global presence. Historically, the Royal Navy had bases all across the world. Over time, that footprint reduced. But now, the United Kingdom is demonstrating that it still has the capability to project power far from home. In 2021, HMS Queen Elizabeth's carrier strike group deployed across the world, including into the Indo-Pacific. This deployment included United States Marine Corps aircraft and ships from other allied nations. It showed that the United Kingdom and the United States are not just talking about cooperation, they are actively doing it. This matters because the United States alone cannot sustain global maritime presence indefinitely at peak levels. Allied navies that can operate at a carrier group scale are extremely valuable. When HMS Queen Elizabeth is at sea, it effectively adds another high-end carrier strike capability to the broader Western alliance. This relieves pressure on the United States Navy while increasing combined readiness. Now the question is, how many nations in the world can field a carrier strike group with advanced fighter aircraft, escort ships, logistics support, and global deployment range? Very few. The existence and operation of HMS Queen Elizabeth place the United Kingdom in an elite category. That matters for alliance credibility. It also matters for deterrence. There is a historical angle to it. During the Cold War, the United States and the United Kingdom coordinated naval operations in the North Atlantic. This coordination was part of a strategy to monitor and deter Soviet submarine activity. Today, the strategic environment is different, but the principles are similar. Sea control, trade protection, and strategic deterrence still rely heavily on naval aviation and carrier operations. There is also a diplomatic dimension. When a British carrier pulls into a United States port, it is not just a military act. It is a public message that both nations continue to stand together, and this message is aimed at both allies and potential rivals. If you are finding this analysis useful, consider subscribing to stay updated on future deep dive breakdowns. So, what does all of this mean for the future of the United States defense policy? The arrival of HMS Queen Elizabeth highlights the importance of distributed allied capability. Instead of one nation carrying all responsibility, multiple nations share in the ability to deploy high-end naval power. This creates resilience. If one ship is unavailable, another can take its place. This is the foundation of strategic redundancy. There is another factor. As technology continues to advance, the network linking allied forces becomes more important than the individual platforms. A modern naval battle is not simply one ship against another, it is a system of systems environment. Sensors, drones, satellites, aircraft, and ships all share information. The side that shares faster and coordinates better gains the advantage. The interoperability between the United States and the United Kingdom is a preview of this future. They are shaping what some analysts call the Allied Maritime Network. This could become a model for partnerships with other nations, such as Japan and Australia, both of which are increasing their naval aviation capabilities. Then, there is the deterrence angle, too. The more closely integrated Allied carrier forces become, the harder it is for a rival to isolate or intimidate one nation. This is especially relevant in regions where contested waterways and military buildup are increasing. Carrier groups are not just symbols, they are practical tools for shaping the strategic environment. Finally, the training, testing, and joint planning being conducted right now will influence how both nations respond to crises in the future. When unexpected events occur, the forces that have already trained together react more quickly and more effectively. Time is often the difference between escalation and stability. So, what are the key takeaways here? First, HMS Queen Elizabeth is not just a ship. It is a strategic instrument designed for modern power projection. Second, the arrival of the carrier at a United States naval base signals a deepening and highly advanced level of military cooperation between the two allied navies. And third, this cooperation plays a significant role in shaping global maritime balance during a period of growing strategic competition. This moment is about readiness, alliance, strength, and the future of integrated naval operations. If you would like to see more analysis like this, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next post on evolving strategies shaping the 21st century military landscape.